It was just the work, I guess, that I was doing, because I was even doing stuff like at night, doing like janitorial work, working in like law offices, cleaning up and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm over here scrubbing toilets and these traders are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I'm just not there yet. Like, I'm working on it. It just is what it is.
All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the TFT podcast. I'm your host, Lorenzo, and today we have Jordan. Welcome, Jordan.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Just so you guys know, Jordan has had over $10,000 payout, his most recent payout with TFT, and we're going to get right into it.
Let's do it.
So tell us where you're from.
So I'm actually from Michigan.
Okay, sweet.
Yep.
What was it like growing up in Michigan over there?
Growing up in Michigan, it's cold for most of the part. You know?
Yeah.
I enjoyed it though. It's a lot different from being out here in Miami for sure.
Have you been to Miami before?
No, it's my first time out here. Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
Sweet.
First time with TFT.
Let's go.
Yeah, let's do it.
How's your experience in Miami been? You haven't been here too long.
I haven't been here too long. It's been really nice though. No, weather's definitely been hot for sure.
Sweet.
But yeah, we've been having a good time just getting some footage and stuff out here. So it's been dope.
Cool. So you're looking to do a lot of the content stuff too?
Yeah. So as I've been kind of working with TJFX, I'm just like looking forward to really just building myself up as a brand as well and a trader.
Sweet. So when was your introduction to trading? Like what were you doing before trading?
So I worked a lot of different jobs. I kind of started like in manufacturing.
Okay.
That's what you see most like in Michigan is different plants and stuff. So in a car manufacturing plant. Yep. So I worked doing that, going to school for design engineering. So I got a job as a design engineer, kind of dropped out as I was coming into trading and really just kind of started doing some random jobs as I'm working around my trading time. And then now I'm just full-time trading.
Did you feel like it was tough growing up in Michigan?
In my area, yeah, it was definitely tough. I come from like a single family home as well. So just dealing with those type of issues, I guess it was a little bit different than maybe other people's perspectives. But yeah, I wouldn't say it was, the roughest, but it was, it had its downs for sure.
How did you stay focused?
So I think for me, just my family, like because of the area that I kind of grew up around, for me, I was always the one that was like kind of very intelligent. So they made sure to kind of keep me in the house and not too much involved in like the environment and things that was going on, because even some of the area that I grew up around, so many things have happened just from the time I've lived there to now, where just like a lot of violence and stuff like that. So them keeping me away from that, I think kind of helped me. And I just kind of locked in on the books and studying, going to college and stuff like that. So I was really locked in and focused on really just engineering at first. And then from there, kind of just separating myself and then start going into trading.
So like, as far as engineering goes, how did you just end up deciding, that at that moment that engineering was something you want to pursue?
Yeah.
Is it like the way your mind just works and you naturally were inclined to that? Or
yeah. So yeah, that's weird that you kind of asked that because like for me, I didn't know at the time when I decided that it was like my mindset that I would be good at engineering. It just sounded good. It was something that I wanted to bring back to my mom, my family. Like, you got an engineer as a son, you know what I mean? Like someone wants a doctor. So it was just like, hey, I'm going to get out of school and pick something that sounds good. That's going to make me a big enough salary to take care of my family and do things like that. But once I got into it, I really started seeing like, wow, I can really do this. But then at the same time, I started to understand that not only can I do this, if I work hard, I can do pretty much anything. So I could have went to school to be a doctor. I could have went to school to do this or that. So as I started trying and doing different things, even just working in manufacturing, like I didn't even have a degree in design, and they had already kind of promoted me to a job opening. Just understand that I was doing good at computer-aided design. And I started doing like architectural work around the plant. And, I just started out just as a worker putting car parts together. So I think it was more so just like my drive and that just kind of pushed me to the point of just like, I can take whatever to the highest scale, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So how hard is engineering for people that don't know?
So, I mean,
You're making it sound really easy. I know it's very technical and stuff, huh?
so I guess it depends like what sector you're in. So I was doing like more so of the design work. And I would say it is very technical, but with the right procedures in place, it's not as hard as you would think. Like, I'm sure like as you've done this podcast and everything that you've done, you know, like once you get into the groove of doing something, it's just a matter of like execution, and then you just try to be your best at it. So it's like, for me, it was a thing that I know I could do as long as I, you know, continue to put the reps in, basically.
So then once you got into the groove of engineering, what happened from there?
So
Is there a crossroads for you?
Yeah, so that was the crossroads. So it was like I had this vision of myself being an engineer, right? Like I'm thinking, okay, I could kind of do this 30, 40 years, retire. It'd be great. But then I got into the field and I actually got into the place that I had seen myself. And around that time, COVID hit. And I was like, you know what? I really don't like doing this. You know what I mean? Like people are making money on their phones, trading. I came in to meet my mentor, Ray, and it was just like, there's something way more bigger that I can be efficient at. Like, so it was hard for me because this is something that's like secure that, you know, I can do engineering. I have something that, you know, my mom or whatever could be proud of. But if I go off to trading, I really don't know. Like, I don't know if it's going to work or not. I got people that I could see as a success, but will it work for me? I don't know. But I just kind of chose the riskier route, because at the end of the day, it's like, if I'm not going to risk it, then what? I'm going to be, if I don't do it now, I could see myself 30, 40 years down the road just upset and sad that I didn't really take it to the full, you know, to the highest that I could actually go.
So 2 things I want to talk about that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
First thing is, I'm seeing you're saying you're able to visualize yourself, like you said, in like maybe 40 years or whatever it is, right? That's something that maybe a lot of people aren't able to do, that, to visualize, where am I going to be in 40 years, right? Yeah. So you were able to visualize that and say, okay, what is my life going to look like if I stick on this path? And you basically said you want to take more risk.
Yeah. Yeah. I went into overdrive when I really sat back. I think the pandemic gave us all perspective to just kind of sit down, because at that point I was already learning about trading and stuff, but it was for me like, okay, this is some extra money that I'm going to take so I can, you know, take my fiance out to eat, or, you know, help my mom out if she needs this or that. Like, it's not.
So you saw it initially maybe more as of a side hustle type deal.
For sure, 100%. But when I did kind of come into that like introspective thinking, it was just like, man, I don't see myself being happy 30, 40 years from now, when I'm starting to meet and know people that's like really doing this for real, that's changing their lives. And it's like, okay, and I'm thinking about going back to my mom. Like, she's been working in manufacturing her whole life, so breaking her back, you know, 20, 30 years. And I'm thinking about like, man, if I'm working at this engineering job, how can I really retire?
It doesn't end. It doesn't end, right?
Yeah, like, she's not going to be able to retire from that, or she, you know what I mean? Or she's not to the point to where she's really comfortable. So it's like, okay, I got to do something else. I got to be the one to take that step. If it's going to be risky or not, and I crash out, whatever. But at least I tried to, you know, put our family into a different place. You know what I mean?
And what else was going on at the time? So obviously when COVID hit, I know that took a big toll on Michigan, especially with all those, all the manufacturing going on. Some places shut down.
Yeah.
Right. So like, what was the situation for you? Is there like some uncertainty in regards to your job, in regards to, am I going to have a job?
Yeah. So for me, it wasn't as bad, because we actually, where I was working at, I started working for this company called Stryker, and they actually work on like hospital beds. So, I mean, COVID, hospital beds is like, our numbers actually surged during that time. So we were doing really well.
Or were.
Yeah. And, but at that point I was working from home. I had an engineering job. So I was still a little bit secure. I mean, any company or anybody could have went under, you know, during that time, because it did get pretty bad, but we still end up doing pretty well. So I wasn't really too, you know, kind of nervous around that.
So you're pretty skilled on the computer. When did you pick that up?
It's crazy, because I never really had my own computer until I just started going to college. So I really don't know. It's like, that's what I said, like with these things, like once I start doing something and I get into that groove of it, it's like, it's game over. But I think for me, it's always been like a thing of like mastering something that I'm doing. Like I want to try to be the best at it that I can be. So yeah, I think I just kind of picked up the knack, and then that kind of transferred over to trading and marking up charts and everything. It just helped me significantly.
Yeah, definitely. It's huge.
Yeah.
So your last payout was 10K with TFT. How was that? How was that of an experience for you?
It was an amazing experience for sure. Like when I first got that payout, it was really undescribable. Like I didn't understand how big it could be because I had payouts in the past.
Okay, you've had payouts in the past.
Yeah, but not what I got with TFT. Like this was my first bigger account and of that amount. So that's what I really started to understand. Like, okay, now I can really scale and double this, triple this, and keep moving forward. So for me, it was like the realization, like, okay, everything I've been doing, like now I have the proof, and now I know what I can kind of double down on in the future to continue the success. So like for me, it was just confirmation, like, okay, now you are on that path. Now you're doing it. Just keep moving forward.
So how long would you say you have experience-wise trading? Like pretty much just since COVID is when you got into it?
So I got into it like with the IML boom. So like around like 2019, I was with them for like a year. Then I just left, started trading on my own. And then right around the time Ray started TGFX, that's when I started taking his course, took his 5-day course. And then right around the pandemic, I was locked in like all day, all night.
How did you meet Ray?
So I actually took his course.
How did you find out about his course?
I feel like I think first I took a challenge and I failed it. And
first ever? Was this your first ever?
Yeah, it was like with FTMO. Okay. So I had took one and I was just so frustrated because at that time I kind of felt like I had it. Like I'm like, I got the strategy down. I'm doing pretty good. And my normal account, of course, it's a smaller account. But I'm thinking like, okay, 10%, I can do that easily. And I remember just kind of searching it up because at that point when I failed my first one, it was kind of a thing too. Like I had started telling like family and friends like, man, I just found out about firms. I'm about to start going crazy. We about to do this and that.
That can be a good and bad thing.
Yeah. So I think I was telling them like, like get ready. And then when I failed that first challenge, it like hit me kind of hard to where I was like almost ready to just, I'm just going to go back and keep doing the engineering. Like I'm just going to stick to that completely, because I just didn't believe in it. I was just having some mixed beliefs, I guess you would say, but I ended up searching up, like how to pass a challenge on YouTube. And his video was like one of the first ones to pop up.
Okay.
And I just started like really just going through all of his videos, ended up purchasing his course and then just moving forward. Yeah.
So he's basically the one that helped guide you through the firm world.
Exactly.
And prior to your knowledge of him, you were trading a personal account?
Yes.
You said?
Yep.
How big was this account?
It was like $2,000.
$2,000?
Yep.
Were you able to scale that?
Yeah, so actually, I would say more so just like maintaining it. Like, so I was just using it for like every 2 weeks, I'm pulling $200-$300 out. Okay. So like 10%. So I was able to do that, but I didn't realize like my risk management, my psychology wasn't really intact.
Yeah.
To really, I think I always still had like a pretty decent strategy or understanding of the market, but I just didn't have the mindset that was going to be able to take on like 100K challenge because it's different seeing them numbers. So
and yeah, outside of the numbers alone too, you have to trade a very specific way to be able to trade a firm, right?
Right.
You have to trade very specifically.
Yes.
You have to flow within this specific range, right? You want to stay within the drawdown. You don't want to risk too much.
Exactly.
So you had to pretty much transform, maybe not your strategy or entries, but at least the lot sizes, the risk, management of the trades, right? Yeah. So that was a lot you had to learn.
Yeah, it definitely was a lot. I think focusing more so on like percentages over the dollar value is what helped me kind of switch that mindset like initially. But I think on top of that, understanding your strategy completely is like the real game changer.
What is your strategy?
So trading the TGFX strategy, I trade with gold. And it's really all based around like a daily higher time frame as the point of interest, and then dropping down to like the smaller time frames to get the most optimal entries of those daily swings and moves. So
So you're using one small time frame and then the daily. Is it what it seems?
I mean, no. So I'm dropping down. I'm starting on the daily, doing the top down analysis. Using like the 8-hour, 3-hour time frames.
8-hour and 3-hour. I gotta take note of that.
Yeah, listen, because that 3-hour closes right before New York opens, so it literally sets you up for the New York trade, and basically that's like on the macro time frame. That's my point of interest from what I'm seeing on my daily bias, and then from there, now I can drop down to like the hour, 15, and then I'm going down to the 1 minute once that point of interest is hit. And seeing that transition to, continue that next leg of structure.
When you started out, were you trading gold?
Yeah, so I always kind of traded gold. I was jumping around with a lot of different pairs. But once I started learning the strategy, I really just locked in on gold and oil. But just in 2023 and, with my TFT payout, I only trade gold.
So what was it about gold that drew you to gold? Because I feel like a lot of traders in the beginning stages, they obviously mess around with gold, right? You got to learn a little bit, get spanked a little bit, right?
Yeah.
But what was it about gold specifically that was like, okay, maybe this is the pair I want to roll with?
Yeah, so I think like with regular Forex, it was a little bit too slow for me. And then with like NASDAQ and indices, it was too crazy. So I like the volatility from there, but I also like how Forex was a little bit slower, but it was just too slow. So I felt like gold was like that medium for me to still get that volatility, but it's not as crazy as like one of the indices.
So yeah, let's talk about that gold versus the indices, right? Because I've traded quite a bit of NASDAQ, and I thought that it was going to be the pair that I stick with, right? Yeah. And then I switched to gold. So could you compare like the way they move?
I feel like with like NASDAQ or US 30, things like that, I feel like it's the wicks to be able to trade like the strategy I trade on the lower time frames. You're not going to be able to withstand the wicks on the 1 minute. Like you're going to constantly get stopped out, where I feel like gold is not as bad. But one of the key things I think between gold and like trading indices is more so just paying attention to the liquidity. So once the liquidity is ran in whatever the opposite of direction that I'm looking to trade, now I'm pretty solid to, once those order blocks are built in my direction, to take that trade. Whereas something with like the indices, it may run that liquidity and then come run that next wick as liquidity and then run that liquidity. So like, yeah, I think it's a lot more wicky, if I could say anything.
But manipulation pretty much is what it seems like, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Do you trade news? What are your thoughts on news and gold?
Yeah, so I don't specifically trade news, but a lot of my trades do align sometimes before news. So it all depends. Like
you're at least on the charts.
Yeah, I'm
looking at it.
Yeah, I'm for sure on the charts. I think my most optimal entries are like after the catalyst of the news is released. That's where we see the liquidity get ran, or we see that continuation through whatever low or high. And then I just get in on that retest of it.
Okay.
But I do have some good trades that have a line like right before a news event, but I don't kind of like recommend that as
I mean, can wake you out and then still go up the way you want it to, right?
Right. Especially dealing with like, the spread jumps up a little bit and stuff like that. So just it's better safe than sorry for sure.
So how long are you waiting after news? Like, is it 3 minutes, 5 minutes?
It's all with the setup. So I do got like the Royal account, and that's only what I trade because I know that I might be trading around that news time. Sometimes it's immediate, like, right after that next candle is forming on the 1 minute. Sometimes it may be like 20 minutes later. It might be like a continuation is built on the 10, 15 minute time frame.
But you're at least waiting for it to close.
Yeah, for sure. I'm not entering on that same minute as it's taking off. Like if it's not before news, then it's definitely after.
I mean, if you haven't learned your lesson yet, traders, you will. You will learn your lesson.
Yeah, for sure. Especially dealing with gold, it'll humble you for sure.
Yeah. What was your best gold trade?
So my best gold trade was like a 1 to 14 risk to reward.
1 to 14?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's what we doing.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Were you like moving your TP up all the way or what?
No, like,
or what? No TP?
No, that was my final target. Was like
damn.
So I would say this because I'm not gonna say like we always do 1 to 14, but like 1 to 8 to 1 to 12, 14, like that's kind of normal.
You're hitting that consistently.
On a monthly basis, let's say maybe 3 to 4 times
Okay.
a month, but not like every single trade. Some trades go like 1 to 5, 1 to 6, 1 to 7, or 1 to 3, and that's it. But with the volatility of gold and knowing like the range of what I'm trading, or if it's a day where there's like a huge imbalance that I'm trading into, if the scale's up to like 1 to 12, 1 to 14, it'll definitely keep pushing to that. Like if you can get in on the lows and highs of those transitions, you can definitely catch some great moves. Like I've had trades that go past that, like 1 to 24, but I just closed out, early.
So you're setting your TP and your stop loss like before you get into the trade, or as you get into the trade.
Yep.
And knowing you have a 1 to 14 RR, full confidence.
Yeah, I mean,
let's go.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to describe it. Like you got to be confident in your setup. But I'm also smart about it. Like if price is at like a 1 to 8 or 1 to 10, or it's a strong initial push, I understand that, I'm not just going to let this trade come all the way back against me. And I get stopped out. I'm obviously going to break even, going to 1 to 1 as it's moving forward. But I do give it enough wiggle room if I believe in that trade to go to the 1 to 14. But my usual stop loss is like 20 pips.
20 pips. Okay, so Ray was saying he does like 5 pips.
Yeah, right? 5 pips on euro is kind of like the same equivalent.
Gold
like 20.
Okay.
Yeah, so 20 pips on gold, and I know that on a strong push, gold is going like 200 pips. So that'll give me like a 1 to 10 restore reward.
Damn, man.
Right. So I usually kind of scale that down to like a 1 to 8 as like my extended target for that daily range. But if we are again like in a breakout range, that's when I feel more comfortable with the 1 to 12, 1 to 14. But yeah,
I'm about to say, passing in one trade.
I don't risk 1% per trade. So that's my thing, because again, like you said with that question, like how often can you hit that? Like, so if I know I'm not going to hit that every single trade, or I might take more break evens, or I may take more smaller losses, or just get like a smaller 1 to 3 or something. I know with that, I need to go for higher risk to rewards setups, because my win rate is not going to be as high,
Okay.
So that's why I'm more so focused on that, because I don't focus on like, oh, I got to win 80, 90% of my trades. I'm more so focused on higher risk to rewards so that it balances out any losses, any break evens.
I mean, ideally, that sounds better.
Yeah.
To be honest.
And that's why I'm happy that we got like with TFT, trading days, like, because that gives me like the freedom for the risk management to just trade my system completely. I don't have to kind of scale up to 1%, so I can make sure I hit that target before the 30 days or anything like that. So I think for me personally, I definitely believe in like smaller risk, higher reward.
Smaller risk. What exact risk are you using?
So I usually use 0.5% per trade.
On the challenge?
On the challenge and my funded account.
Okay.
Yep. I might drop it down to like 0.25 if I get in a little bit of drawdown, but overall I'm doing 0.5% per trade and only taking usually 2 trades a day, but most times it's only 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
1 trade a day. Okay.
Yep.
So why do you not like the 2 trades a day?
No, so I mean, I will take 2 trades a day, most definitely, if it aligns, but I'm not taking a trade after a win or anything.
Okay,
like
so if you win for the day, you're saying you're done.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Like, yeah, so if I get 1 win, I'm done. If I take a loss and the setup aligns again, then I will take another trade.
Okay.
Yep.
And then max 2 trades. If you lose both of them, you're done?
I'm walking away, closing the laptop.
Good.
Yep.
I mean, that's huge.
Yeah.
Because just being able to do that is huge. Especially for beginner traders, they can't do that.
It's hard to do, for sure. It's something that I had to like mentally train for, doing things like visualization, meditation,
exactly,
all those things. Like you can train yourself to get away from all those negative things that you do, like over trading and not being able to walk away. So I literally see myself closing my laptop and walking away.
Damn.
Yeah, like I do that repetition because I know it's going to be a day that the market is going to
thought of that.
Yeah, the market's going to frustrate you and make you think that you're crazy. Like, this setup can work and it just may not be your day, and that's okay. So that's what I just kind of had to do for that, just that repetition to understand, like, I can just walk away, but to do it in the moment is hard. So that's why we, do the visualizations and stuff like that.
Yeah, so you're doing the visualizations. You're doing stuff that I would say even that alone, most traders aren't doing that.
Yeah.
Right. Like they probably have no idea what that looks like.
Right.
So give me some perspective as to what was your experience being the student and Ray being the teacher or professor, right? What does that relationship look like for you? What did you have to do? What did you learn? And how did it help you become profitable?
I think Ray, working with him, doing like the 5-day course first, I think that kind of just solidified what I already kind of knew from the strategy that he was teaching and just kind of refined it. But like actually working with him one-on-one, definitely doing like the psychology side. So always showing my trades from each day, showing my psychology in the moment, kind of breaking down like, what are my barriers? Like what's stopping me from easily passing the challenge if I'm marking up trades that are going for 1 to 8 to 1 to 10, but I closed early, or I let it go all the way to 1 to 10, but I wanted a 1 to 12 or something, and I didn't even move my stop loss. Like just all these little different things is what I start working with him on, and then kind of figuring out a plan for myself of what I need to see when I sit down and meditate to kind of get rid of those bad habits. And I think that will kind of help me to get into the role, actually being able to work with him, kind of coming out of that student role and kind of working besides him. It was definitely big. I mean,
It's huge. Yeah.
He's got the game on lock when it comes to the psychology game, as well as, you know, just the trading game in general, because I think one thing about him, he really understands like the mindset of being profitable over time.
Yeah.
Where we all want to take trades every single day and we always want those trades to be wins. Some days there are going to be losses. So you have to understand that that comes with it. But do you have the mentality to get through that is, you know, what's key. So I think, working with him has definitely been great. And yeah, what that kind of, again, look like is just the repetition of him helping me create a plan of what I want to see and what I want to do as I'm doing my meditations and like visualizations and everything.
So it seemed like the whole focus was pretty much getting clarity on, you know, the actual processes that are happening when you're taking the trade, right? Like actually looking at, you know, what is my brain saying right now instead of just going through the motions.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, the meditation in itself is the thing that creates the awareness. So the thing is, like, in the moment, we're not so much aware of the things that we're doing. So that's where we fall short at. So like doing the reps of meditation is like what creates the awareness around it. So now when I'm in the moment, I'm paying attention to what I'm thinking as I'm entering and exiting the trade. I'm writing it down as I'm, you know, going through my trading day. I'm recording myself while I'm trading. I'm doing all these things so I can kind of play back, like, you know, just like a quarterback looking at the setups every day and playing it back and watching it, getting ready for the next week. Like doing those.
Recording that with your webcam too?
Yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
Well, no, I'm not recording myself with my webcam, but that's something I'm gonna implement as well.
Yeah.
Just so I can kind of see my reaction as well, but just recording my screen at the moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So you came to Ray. You had already studied his videos.
Yep.
You knew the strategy. You felt pretty confident in that strategy, right? As you were trading on your live account.
Yep.
And then from there, you did the 5-day course.
Yep.
It was on Zoom?
Yeah, so it was all on Zoom. It was like 8 hours, 5 days. He had us locked in. Yeah.
Ray's a savage for that one.
Yeah, I'm telling you, he's the one.
So what are some takeaways that you had personally?
I think the main takeaway I got from him was the psychology. Yeah, it was the psychology behind taking the trades in the moment to pull the trigger. Like what I need to see to pull the trigger, getting a strong plan and structure in place as well. And I think that's kind of why I just dove deeper into reaching out to him, because I really wanted to understand like his mindset in around all of this, and around the whole strategy, and around what he's thinking in the moment, like just diving deeper. And he, you know, was always receptive to me and always answered any question that I had. So,
and like obviously there's probably a million Forex traders / gurus on the internet, right?
Yeah.
What was it about Ray that drove you to like him and to like his strategy?
Yeah, I think similar to what people think of, like when they think of like ICT, all you see is chart work. All you see is in-depth knowledge. You don't see someone in front of a Lambo or, you know what I mean, going and cashing out, doing this and that. And that's not to say some of these traders out here aren't really trading. You know what I mean? Some traders are making way more on their business than they are in their real accounts.
Yeah.
And I think just seeing him and how much that he knows about trading and about psychology really just showed me like he's the real one that if I'm gonna follow any mentor, this is gonna be the guy that I want to come up under, because I can actually trust to say what he says is credible. Because it's like, if someone gave you a drink or whatever and they just told you whatever X amount, whatever is in it, right? And you just drank it. It's like somebody told you exactly the health benefits of every single protein item, whatever in that drink. It's like, now you actually trust that it's going to do whatever that result is that you're looking for, you know, to help build muscle or whatever. So I think with Ray, he was that guy that really break the markets down to a science, where it's like, okay, you know what you're talking about, so I'm gonna go over here. You know what I mean?
I mean, it's easy for a lot of traders, like you said, to be able to fall for that marketing for maybe some of these people who are selling courses. Maybe they're flexing the Rolex, the Lambo.
Right.
You know, it's easy for maybe beginner traders to really fall into that.
Yeah.
And they're not going to get much out of that, unfortunately.
Right. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you're going to get a course and a little bit of knowledge and
some copy and paste course has been on the internet already.
Exactly. But I mean, I think that helps a lot of traders though. Like sometimes you gotta go through that to really, and if you're willing to go through that to get to the point of getting payouts, if you're willing to deal with, you know, people that are actually giving you real information and going to seek higher information that's going to, you know, really give you that, then I think that's what's going to separate you from all those other traders and, you know, get you to that level.
So for people that are struggling with trading, what would you say is the biggest piece of psychology advice you can give them?
I think the biggest piece for me was definitely doing the meditation and visualization.
Actually doing the meditation.
Yeah, like I can't even tell you how crazy it sounds, but like I sat in this chair probably 10, 50, 100 times.
Wow.
Like, before I actually got here, I see myself.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I see myself hanging up my certificate. I see myself getting the payout receipt and everything. Like I go, you know, when I got into the Discord, I see everyone's screenshots and stuff. I took a screenshot of that and said, you know, like this is going to be mine. You know what I mean? And that's what I visualize. And it's crazy to say that or be up here saying that, but it's really real. And it's
huge.
I think if you can trust that and you can kind of get those reps in from your strategy and from the results you want to see, I mean, in anything in your life, I think it's truly possible. So maybe that won't work for everybody, but I feel like if you can really trust it, I mean, I'm living proof. I'm up here, you know, so it's real.
That's crazy. So you've been here 50 times.
I would say more. I started with 10, but I mean, I definitely visualize myself. I visualize how these headphones feel, how this mic sounds like.
So it's every single detail. It's not even just being here. That's the least of it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about like how it will feel to be here, how it will feel to meet you guys, how, you know, how it will feel to get a payout. Like I really start diving into books like, you know, with Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural, all those things. And I'm like, you know, let me just try it. And the results have been real. So it's like I can't make it up.
It's crazy. Like the mind is such a powerful tool.
It's powerful.
It really is. And like we have to use it to our advantage at the end of the day, because if you're not using it, then it's using you.
Exactly.
It's going to believe every subconscious belief you have, and it's going to make that your reality.
Right. So once you understand that you create your reality, you know, start creating what you want, not what you don't want, you know?
So walk us through a meditation.
Okay.
Can we do one right now?
I mean, no, it would, I mean, not exactly. Like, so for me, it starts again, like with breath work, you know, getting myself calm in that state. But I do a couple of different things. So first, I kind of want to see like my trading setup and my trading plan. I want to see myself following my trading rules. I want to see the negative side. Like if I take 2 losses, I want to see myself walk away from my trade. And then it just comes to stuff like, you know, whatever with family, friends, like things that I want to see for my life, being successful, stuff like that. So really it comes into getting focused and then getting a clear picture. And I try to do this thing where I try to find like 5 different things that I can see. So like, let's say for instance, this interview, I want to see myself sitting here. I want to see this mic. I want to kind of define what this looks like. And I could do that by, you know, watching the podcast. So I just kind of put myself in that place. And I think yeah, that's pretty much like what my meditation looks like. But for trading specifically, it's just seeing myself at my trading desk, seeing my computer, seeing me open my trade, seeing me mark my setup up, seeing me take that setup maybe 3 to 4 times.
Yeah.
And then again, seeing like the negative side of what I would do in a situation of taking multiple losses in a row and stuff like that.
So this is obviously a huge level of awareness.
Yeah.
So for most people, they don't have it.
I mean,
unfortunately, maybe any kind of awareness, right? Yeah. So is this something that you felt like you had, or is it something that you learned?
It's something, again, that I learned, but then once I started doing it, I understood like how natural it is. And I think that's why when you ask what could I recommend to traders, if you can trust it, I think that's something that we've all can innately do. And it's just something that we're so kind of taken away from with like all these devices, all these different things. It's like
your attention is getting pulled in so many ways.
It's so many ways that you don't know that you have a higher amount of awareness that's literally sitting there, is just waiting for you to access it. So I think, yeah, that's really the biggest thing, is just creating that awareness. Anyone can do it. You know, we all have it for sure.
So that's something that you worked on, right? And you feel like maybe you're in the mastery phase of that. What is something that you're working on now that you feel like will bring you more success in trading? What is the next step for you?
I think the next step is just trusting even more. Just as I'm seeing my setup and stuff in real time, even if you do the meditation and visualization, once you're in that moment, you still
slips away from
you still can not click that trade when you see it so clear. I think one thing for me is like reversals. I love taking continuation type of trades. That's easy for me. But
the trend.
Yeah, but reversal trades, I'm starting to see them a lot more clear, but I'm still having a tough time clicking buy or sell. And I mean, the worst thing is I don't take a trade and I don't lose any money, but I can capitalize on so much more. So I think just expanding like my playbook of what I want to see and kind of gathering that, as well as my visualization, is what I'm working on for that next level.
So what's in your playbook setup? You I think you spoke about order blocks.
Yep. So I mean, definitely order blocks, targeting liquidity, imbalances as well, and just flowing with order flow.
Just be with the market.
Yeah, just be with the market. I mean, just more so understanding like using like session highs and lows, daily high and low.
Yeah.
That's all like within the strategy as well.
Can we get into that a little bit more? Using the session high and lows. How can you actually use that to your advantage? How do you visualize that and say, okay, this session went here. What am I looking for next?
Yeah. So I mean, like for instance, on a continuation setup, right? If London sets a high and we get New York to come in and New York creates a bullish continuation through that high, if price respects and maintains above it, I can continue to buy higher. So, and then for instance, on a reversal, or let's say London made a high, but we're still in a downtrend market. Once that high is made, all we're doing is waiting for potentially London to be respected, or even the liquidity ran above it, and we, sell it back down. So I think understanding that each session sets up the next session, and as well as the previous day's high and low, it kind of all correlates. So you're basically just waiting for these areas to just either be retested, respected, liquidity ran above or below it, and you just flow from there.
How essential is this to you, marking up the session highs and lows? Is this like a non-negotiable, like I have to do this before I take any trade?
For sure. Yeah, no, I got to know where it's at, because for instance, like let's say I'm thinking about taking a continuation through London's high. If I'm not actually shown that price is actually building above it or maintaining above it, I'm literally selling into supply. So, I mean, I'm literally buying into supply. So if I never had that marked up, I wouldn't have known that that was a supply level, and that's a lose that I didn't even have to take. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sweet. How long have you had your 100K account?
I've had it since end of May.
All right.
Yep. So just a little bit while now.
How long do you plan to have this? You seem like you're a pretty consistent trader, and it seems like that's something that you value, is maintaining the account.
Yeah.
Now, some people have different ways of trading, right? They're a little more riskier with their accounts, and they believe in replacing them. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say it like that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't plan on replacing it, but I'm not like opposed to understanding that if I get caught in a drawdown, I get caught in a drawdown.
Yeah.
But with my risk management strategy, I don't ever plan on losing my accounts. So
Yeah.
I think I started small, just trying to understand like how to be consistently profitable and get consistent payouts. And now I'm trying to kind of actually scale and, take it higher. Because again, I think one of my biggest factors that I kind of learned with Ray is when I got that bigger account, seeing those numbers always freaked me out. I always had this, I always had the strategy, but seeing it was something psychology with those numbers that I couldn't take. So now I'm at that level where I want to maintain and scale. So I don't plan on, ever losing my account. But if it happens, I'm definitely going to continue to keep going for sure.
You're trading this account. You're stopping at 2 trades a day, max, 2 losses max. What is the goal now, long term?
My first initial goal, I would guess on long term basis, was to get at least 5% on a consistent basis.
The other thing I wanted to ask you is you talked about, you and Ray both talked about trading 4 days out of the week instead of 5. Can you explain a little like the logic behind that?
Yeah, so that's interesting that you say that because we've been talking so much about psychology.
Yeah.
Mondays, we actually just go over like the psychology, answer any questions and stuff like that so we can get mentally prepared for the week. And then a lot of times Mondays is still kind of setting up for the initial week. So it's like, why even risk a setup and just kind of back testing and going over our numbers. We just kind of understood that, Mondays aren't really even the best. So we just kind of use that as psychology day.
So you felt more confident taking Mondays off than a Friday?
Yeah, so first we kind of was using Fridays, but
as the day off.
Yeah, but we kind of, our traders as a group, we kind of just switched it to Mondays.
Okay.
And I mean, sometimes on Fridays we still might not take a trade if it's not looking the best. Like, and that's the thing. Like, we don't take a trade every single day if the setup doesn't align. We're focused on high probability and high risk to reward.
And let's say there's news on Friday. Are you just staying away altogether, or you just...
No, we don't. I mean, we don't shy away from news. We don't trade NFP for sure.
NFP,
yeah, but we will. As sometimes we have taken like continuations after the NFP event. But yeah, we don't shy away from news at all. We don't trade right into news.
Yeah, of course, of course. So, what is this Discord community like to you? How important? How much value has it brought to you being a part of this Discord community?
With TFT?
No,
TGFX?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it definitely helped me at the start because I'm more so of a person like to myself, more quiet. I don't really talk a lot, but when you can see that people are going through the same struggles of trying to learn and advance, and we all got the same goals in mind, that's really what takes us to the next level because I don't have family or friends that are also trying to be traders and stuff like that. So I think the community is, super important.
And I wanted to ask you as well, because you mentioned this earlier. You said you told everyone, you told your family, I'm getting this account, right?
Yeah.
Because that's something that a lot of people will experience, right? They lose the account, like you said, and then their family starts saying, oh, no, like you're wasting your money. They're going to take all your money. It's a scam, this and that.
Yeah.
So how do you keep your mindset on point?
So, I mean, for me, I think I've been blessed. My family is like super supportive of what I've been doing because I think that they always been that way. So it was easier for me, but I still felt down about it. Like I still didn't want to tell anybody that I blew the account or, share that with them. But I think, again, like Ray was like kind of like my lifeline of once I start taking it more serious and start paying attention to what he had going on. That really helped me advance and kind of get back in the game because, like at that point, it was like, I don't want to have to go back and tell them that I'm losing another challenge again. Like,
then they start to get concerned. They're like, why are you spending all your money on it?
Yeah, exactly.
They just don't understand.
Right. But it's all a part of the game. I think every trader, I don't think I would even trust a trader that hasn't blown an account or failed a 100%. Challenge. Like, but I mean, I know there are some really great traders out there, but I feel like that definitely makes you more credible because you've been in the game. Like,
you have to experience both sides.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
So once you took the 5-day course with Ray, is that when you started to become profitable from trading? So
I would say no, I was profitable probably.
We'll say you were pulling out $200-$300.
Yes.
Personal account.
Right. So I was probably profitable, but I guess I wasn't profitable to the point to consistently pass like a challenge
Mm-hmm.
and get payouts because my setups weren't as refined. So I think understanding the strategy a bit more once I started diving in with him
Mm-hmm.
and taking the 5-day course is what like took off.
Okay.
Yep.
Cool. So you're perfect. What indicators do you use for your? Do you use any?
I don't use any indicators, but our session, we got our own session indicator that marks up the highs and lows automatically for you each
Nice.
day. Yep.
And are you trading on TradingView, MT4?
Trading View, but I'm executing my trades on MT4. Yeah.
Okay. So when did you discover TFT?
I believe I already knew about TFT last year, but I kind of set it my goal that like, okay, let me actually get a smaller account with them. Let me try to build it up. Let me see if I can get consistent payouts. Because beforehand, again, like I would go for a bigger account and I couldn't handle it. So I said, and Ray recommended as well, like, let's start small, see if you can build it up. And that really showed me like, okay, I'm not going to focus on the money anymore because that's obviously really what it is. Seeing those numbers fluctuate is like, man, I could do this, that. And once you got a smaller account, it's like, it's not as much or it's not
as much pressure.
Yeah, it's not as much pressure. So being able to just do that and say, okay, it's not about the money. It's about understanding consistency with the percentage. And after that, I felt more comfortable to kind of join up with TFT this year.
Cool. So it's really hard to make that leap for most traders. Like a very common thing is that these traders are able to make money, maybe even be profitable on a 10K account.
Yeah.
Or on a small account, then they're like, okay, I'm not really making that much money from this. Let me jump up, jump up to the 100K, and then they blow it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's one thing I learned too is like you got to know that you deserve it. So especially like me coming from maybe like a low income family, you come up with certain scenarios in your mind of it's only so much that you can do or only so much you can make or your life is only going to be based around this amount of income. So you really got to understand and reprogram and understand like, you know what? No, I deserve to make 200K. Once you can get that in your mind, I think that like kind of helps set the tone, but you got to kind of continue to reinforce it.
Exactly.
And just keep going from there.
So for that reprogramming that you talked about, is that something that you can work through and then you'll be okay? Or is that literally like an every single day thing?
I feel like you got to work through it to a certain point, and then you still have to remind yourself. Like for me, it was like, it was an everyday thing until now. Like being out here in Miami, even like it's shown me like from all that work I was doing, look where you at. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's like I get to have these reminders of, now I have to continue to keep going forward. Like I deserve even more. I can do even more. I want to be back on the podcast. Whatever. So it's like. You definitely have to work to a certain point in it, and it's tough to get through it, especially if you don't even understand that you got these blocks around, what you think is actually possible.
What have you visualized for your future?
I mean,
how far have you gone?
Yeah, so I got a 2-year-old son. His name is Adonis. So,
oh, cool.
What I'm really seeing is more so like for him. So I feel like, everybody thinks their kid is special, but I feel like with me, I think I'm in this position because he's going to be so much more than I could even imagine. So I just try to imagine me having so much capital or so much, being so comfortable that he can literally go do whatever he wants and he's going to have, the best life possible, obviously still working and doing hard work. I don't want him to just, because I came from, work. So I don't want him to just be handed to him. But I think that like my highest goal or my highest vision is really like for him and for my family to really just be comfortable, bro. And from there, just really kind of jumping into like the business role of what I can do. But yeah, I think the highest goal that I can kind of say that I visualize is more so like for my family to just be, comfortable and for my son to be able to do whatever he wants.
Is there a dollar amount to that? To that point where you say, okay, I'm comfortable now. Like, I'm good.
No, I don't think it's a dollar amount. I think it's more so based off of like a feeling. So I think I'll kind of know when I get there. I don't think I want to set like a limitation on like, okay, I need 10 mil or I need whatever. I think even that, because someone else could live a different lifestyle and not be comfortable with $10 million. Like where for me, that would be completely life changing. You know what I mean? But I don't want to limit myself because what if I get to that point one day and now that's like my cap because I didn't see myself at a higher vision or whatever. So for me, it's not really necessarily like a number or a date. It's just continue to advance. Like I just really want to get that picture, but it doesn't necessarily got to be a number.
So let's just use 10 million for now as like a placeholder, right?
Yep.
How quickly do you think you can get there?
I think you can get there pretty quick. I wouldn't
like
say
faster than people maybe would realize, right?
Yeah, I think if you do it right, you definitely invest in your money, creating more businesses, potentially even around trading, or it could be in something else. I think it's your approach to it. Now, if you just are making money and blowing it all, I think, yeah, it's probably far off. But if you using, a certain amount of money that you're getting to invest, reinvest and getting more accounts, scaling, continue to trade across all accounts. I mean, we've seen traders that have been literally scaling crazy. You know what I mean? So I definitely think it's possible. I would say maybe if you do it right, maybe within 10 years, for sure.
10 years. $1 million a year. Well, I mean, obviously exponential growth and stuff.
Right. I mean, that could be far off, but
you never know.
You never know. I would say maybe even, like maybe 10 to 20 years potentially.
I think you'll be there before 20 years, honestly, bro.
I mean, yeah, I think it's definitely possible. I can't put a date on it for sure, but I think it definitely could happen.
Sweet. Where are you living again currently?
I'm in Michigan.
You're still in Michigan?
Yeah, yeah.
Do you plan to stay in Michigan?
So, yeah, I mean, I plan potentially because that's where my family is at. But, being able to travel and see all these different places, expanding my horizon, I know that I can potentially move wherever I would like to.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely right now I'm thinking about just getting a house in Michigan for sure.
Okay. And then like business-wise, you talked about investing in other areas. What is your plan on that side?
So for me right now, I think my goal is really just to scale with TGFX. So getting us to the highest amount of really helping traders, helping them pass challenges as well. I think on the business side, that's what I'm looking more so to invest into, like more so invest into myself to become a better trader and, really help out the community. As far as like business outside of trading, I don't have anything specific like that I want to enclose, but yeah, I think right now it's all going into like the trading side of things.
So you started off as the student, and then now it sounds like you're moving into that teacher role, that professor role, right?
Yeah, it's been tough because I still catch myself, like I gotta get that.
So you started off as the student, and then now it sounds like you're moving into that teacher role, that professor role, right?
Yeah, it's been tough because I still catch myself, like I gotta get that confidence to actually show all these traders, because I was once in their position, you know what I mean? So sometimes it's like I still have that mindset, and that's with the reprogramming. I have to understand like I'm in this role now, and it happened so quick. Like I went from working with him, and then he was like, come on, bro, you've been doing your thing. Like, let's work,
Nice.
and I love it. You know what I mean? So I think right now, getting that mindset is definitely a big deal for me and it feels great to be like in this role now for sure.
It sounds like you guys are growing pretty quickly.
Yeah, we're doing well.
Mostly, you would say from people coming in off YouTube. Is that how they're finding?
Yes.
Community?
Yeah. So I would say 100% YouTube, Instagram, trying to work our way in on Twitter and kind of scale from there.
Now, do you plan to trade forever?
So yeah, we were actually just talking about that. I do plan. I don't see myself ever not being a trader. And we were thinking like, you think Angelo, still trades and stuff, but it's like it's crazy to think about because trading has helped me grow so much as a person. Yeah. It's like, why would I want to stop?
Exactly.
Trading is that thing that you can continue to master day after day after day after month after year. You know what I mean? It's like no cap to it. Yeah. So I think like the mastery aspect is what I love because it helps me to feel fulfilled. You know what I mean? So right now I don't see myself never not trading.
I mean, it's like you can't be successful in trading until you master yourself.
Facts.
So it's good to have that as part of your routine. Some people, I see a lot of traders out there that say, oh, I don't want to trade forever, like whatever.
Right.
But it's like, do you really like this?
Yeah.
Sure you like it?
Exactly. Like, yeah, what are you in it for?
Yeah.
And I mean, everybody's got their different perspectives. They want to come in and get the bag and start their own company or do whatever. But I think if you want to get to the point of actually being profitable and getting consistent payouts, you gotta love trading. Like you gotta have some type of love for it. If you actually do have these higher goals.
Yeah, it's like actually the best job out there that I can think of. Right?
It's the hardest, but the best for sure.
Yeah,
it's the most fulfilling,
most rewarding.
Yeah,
it's based on how much talent, how much skill you have, then you're paid, you're rewarded based on that.
Yeah, 100%.
Any other pairs you ever trade, or are you just strictly gold and never gonna change your mind?
Yeah, so again, I was trading gold and oil for a while, especially last year. But yeah, I was more so trading commodities. But now, yeah, I think I'm a lot.
Gold is just the way to go.
It's just the way to go. I may add a pair at some point, but I think it's just helped me to really master it. So why not just lock in with it? It gives me everything I need.
So have you ever tried silver?
I never tried silver actually.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, some people prefer silver to gold.
Yeah,
I like gold.
Yeah, have you tried silver out?
Maybe a couple times.
Okay,
never stuck to it.
Gotcha.
I want to hear more about the thought process that's going through your head when you're taking that trade, because you said the psychology is very important. So what literally thoughts are coming to your head when you're taking that trade?
So I think creating an awareness around my thoughts as I'm trading helps when I'm writing it down. So like as I'm writing it down, I kind of just have like my checklist of what I want to see. So is my daily bias correct? Is price getting to that? Have I refined that bias to a lower time frame? What is price doing on that lower time frame? Has price reached that point? And now I'm kind of just writing down like my confirmations, and basically I'm just writing it down until I'm ready to pull the trigger. So the thoughts that I'm having is more so just like breathe, focus, watch, wait, a lot of weight. A lot
of stuff can come to your head in that moment, right? But you're keeping it as simple as you can.
Yeah.
You're literally keeping it to just what you need to stay alive, breathe.
Right. Yeah, I mean, telling myself to breathe helps a lot, and telling myself to wait helps a lot, because it's like I'm always refining and looking back at what I need to see before I take that entry, especially because it's the 1 minute time frame. So it's do or die. It's like if you don't get the most optimal entry, you potentially miss one of the best setups that the market was going to give you. So telling myself to wait, I still get those thoughts like take the trade. Like, but I notice when I get those type of thoughts that are like, hurry up and take the trade, that's the trades that I don't want to take. That's that impulse side.
You need to take note of that.
Yeah, so that's what's like writing it down helped me to kind of differentiate like the ego opposed to the actual strategy. So when I get those thoughts of like, hurry up and take the trade, or, yada, yada, that's where I know that that's not actually me speaking on the actual strategy
or something.
Right. It just wants to hurry up and make money. Whereas when it's like, breathe, wait, okay, got this confirmation, take the trade. When it's like smooth and simple, those type of thoughts, like, and it flows, that's when I know that I'm, taking the trade that's actually aligned with the strategy.
And what else are you writing down? Like, are you taking notes after your session and saying what I did wrong?
Yeah, so I always take notes to kind of just refine like what I could have did better, or what I missed. And sometimes I have to wait till like the trading day is over, or the following day, like to see how price aligns. So I might have still been right, but I got to see like how did price action actually play out. Okay. So I'm writing all that stuff down. And then also I kind of got like a scale of like being like overjoyed, or kind of if I'm feeling down low that day. And I'm kind of just looking at that to find that balance. And I learned that through like reading a book called Market Wizards. One of the guys, he had this scale that he like kind of goes to every day. And I noticed like when I'm feeling hype, confident in the morning, like I just got a workout in, I'm feeling really good. Those other days I'm like way too aggressive. Confident. I'm way too aggressive in the market. And the days I'm just not having a good day, I'm not feeling good. You know what I mean? Stuff going on or whatever. Those are the days that I'm just like really trying to force trade. I'm kind of aggressive as well, or I might be too scared to take trades. So I want to get like that neutral balance. And that's kind of what I'm like trying to focus on, is like, as I'm writing down, if I'm feeling certain thoughts or I'm hearing certain thoughts, how can I get in that balance of being right in between so I can hit that trigger when it's time?
It's crazy because it seems like obviously you really need to know yourself to be able to do this. And doing this allows you to be able to know yourself. But without doing this, do you even know who you are? Do you know how you show up in these situations? It's like it's so important to be able to, this is crucial information for people leaving out these steps that are not taking notes, not doing this. And then they're caught in the same loop of losing, or whatever it is. It's like, you gotta master yourself. You gotta see how you show up. You need put a mirror in front of your face, right? That's what you're doing, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, I didn't always have this awareness. Like, in going back to your question before, like, it wasn't always there. It's something that I had to do over time. Like, I was never thinking this deep into it. And again, like Ray, that's something that he drove. And a lot of traders, I mean, out there, we all hear that same information. Like, psychology is key, but we all just ignore it.
Yeah, at some point, it just sounds like traders just be like, it's just a buzzword, right? Psychology.
Yeah, it's like, oh, whatever. I'm gonna get back on these charts. Well, okay, cool. But no, when you actually dive into it and really take the time, that's where you'll know, like, okay, this is what it takes. And, I think everyone should definitely take more note of that.
How does this awareness bleed into other areas of your life?
I think as far as discipline, for sure. I think if one thing I notice is if I'm going to master the charts, I got to try to master everything. So even just like with working out, trying to eat better, or just like even the time that I spend with my family, like that type of awareness is like I'm trying to be more in the moment and more present, like even just playing with my son, whatever it is. I think that trading has helped me become more present to where I'm like actually focused in and trying not to be like on my phone so much, or, whatever the case may be. So I think it's helped me in the field of like mastery, like even just doing random chores around the house. Like I want things to be, perfect or, whatever. So I think like it's definitely helped out a lot for sure.
And if you could go back to like when you first took your first ever trade and you could say something to yourself and say, hey, I got one tip for you, or I got one piece of advice, like what would that be? What would you tell yourself?
Man, that's a great question. I would tell myself, get ready.
Get ready for the trip, for the journey?
Get ready for the journey. Like, don't even set out to take this trade or say you want to be, if, let's say, your first trade, you're not trying to be a full-time trader. Potentially, maybe you are. But if that was like my goal as I'm taking that first trade, get ready for the journey. Like, it's not going to be just this trade and you're about to take off. So I think that's what I would tell myself. Just get ready, enjoy the journey, and keep going, because once you get to that other side, you'll realize like it really wasn't even that bad. All those ups and downs, like to finally be here.
Yeah.
Okay, that was nothing. I could do that again. You know what I mean? Just to get here and get a payout and continue to get payouts is like, okay, cool. I can do that. Like I can go through a little bit of struggle to really start to elevate. It's definitely profound for sure.
So it sounds like you have the confidence that if you were to lose everything today, that you can get it all back.
Yeah. And I mean, to be honest, that's what I had to do. Like from that first point and kind of going into like, as I shifted from being an engineer, I was making decent money. But the thing is, we were coming back to work. So I had to actually decide I'm going to trade so I can trade New York session and kind of do like random odd jobs to make money while I'm trying to trade. Or I can stay with something consistent and not leave this job. Like for me to put in my 2 weeks was like the hardest thing I ever had to do. Like literally shaking as I'm typing this because I don't know. Like, and at this point, my son, he's probably like 1 year old or about to turn 1. So it's like, am I really making the right decision? Like, so it was definitely tough to make that transition, but it's well worth it. And I think that gave me the confidence to understand, like, I could, like you said, I could lose it all, get it all back.
It's a good feeling to know, though.
Yeah,
have that confidence that you know your abilities.
Yeah, but I think that's what the journey is about. Like, I think you have to fall off and you have to get back on.
You have to
understand that now you can do it. Now you got the confidence to keep leveling up.
So from that moment where you put your 2 weeks in till today, what would you say was the lowest point in your trading journey? Because honestly, we've heard a lot of good.
Yeah,
we've heard you progressing, you're getting the mindset, everything.
I think,
what was the point where it's like, damn?
I think the biggest thing, bro, was like, I just got down to a point. It was just the work, I guess, that I was doing, because I was even doing stuff like at night, doing like janitorial work and like working in like law offices, cleaning up and stuff like that. And it's like, I'm over here scrubbing toilets and these traders are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, but I'm just not there yet. Like I'm working on it. So I remember just like a lot of days just feeling down, like at the end of the day, like, but I knew I still got to get up and get back to it in the market in the morning. Like it just is what it is. But I think those was kind of like my lowest moments, like just like, bro, is this really it? Like I could have been in the office just doing my engineering stuff right now, but I chose to be a day trader. So now I got to do everything to make these extra ends, you know what I mean? Just so my family could, you know, be straight until I get it all the way together.
And it's like I think that they say comparison is the thief of joy, right? So it's literally when you're comparing yourself to others and the results, it's like, how can I get that?
Exactly. Yeah, I remember seeing Ray, he was like going on vacation down in Mexico and like for like a month straight. And I was just like, man, I got to get to that level. I'm glad I get to be you know, working close to him, but I still got work to do. And you know what I mean? So it's like to see other traders do that, you gotta flip it and say, you know, no, I can be that. He's showing me what I can be if I keep going. So that's what helped me. But yeah, I mean, I was definitely still down and kind of comparing and feeling like I should be here or I should be there, you know.
But I'm sure that memory, although it was like a low point, it's a very important core memory on your journey of being a trader, right? Like that is like the first brick that you put down on this road to put the foundation. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Because I mean, if I got here, right, and I didn't go through all that, what would I talk about?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's like that had to happen. And now I understand it. So that's why I would, again, tell myself, like, enjoy the journey, like, because that's going to be the stories to create, you know, the story of my life, my legacy. You know what I mean? Like, I had to go through that. If it was just all glitz and glamour, it would be nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it wouldn't mean anything to you.
Right. For sure.
It's crazy. Tell us one more thing you want to share with the viewers today.
One more thing. So I think that everyone should just kind of focus more so on discipline to be the best trader that they can be. Kind of put your mindset in a place of you don't need to pass a prop firm challenge or you don't need to have a certain amount of money in a certain amount of time. Enjoy the journey once again. I think that definitely putting yourself in position to know that time is going to take time to get to any level of mastery, and it doesn't have to be trading. Like, so this is not even just the traders out there. Like, whatever you want to do, podcast, whatever, you got to put in a certain amount of time to get to that point of it being profitable for you or for it to, you know, really make money for you and for you to get the results you want. So just put in the effort, keep going, you know, and don't stop.
Try to master yourself.
Yeah, and don't stop.
Don't stop.
Yeah.
You heard it, guys. You want to get a payout, take notes from this guy right here.
For sure. Appreciate it, bro.
Hey, thank you so much for coming on the pod. It was a great conversation. Can you please drop your socials for everybody so they can follow you? Yeah, so you can follow me on Instagram at j.willtrades. And then you can just follow us on Technical Odds on the on the YouTube as well. Alrighty, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the TFT podcast. We'll see you on the next one. Make sure to like, follow, subscribe.
All right, see you guys.